Hi everyone, welcome back to Live Darts. We are here in Minehead and we've got the 2015 Champion of the World, Scotty Dog, Scott Mitchell. Scott, first of all, it's been a while. How are you? Keeping well?
Yeah, keeping well, you know, enjoying life, and it's nice to have it feels like a weekend off for me. Not actually playing in the competition. It was lovely to do the exhibition on Thursday night and doing the fan zone today and just talking darts in general. It's yeah, and I'm able to watch the guys and relax and enjoy the darts. I was always a fan of darts anyway before people knew who I was, so yeah.
I say it's very tongue-in-cheek and in big inverted comments, but everyone will be now always gone to the dark side for the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously difficult to tie up where you're going to go and what you're going to do with the circuit. So, you know, it's the Italian this weekend and Malta during the week. So I had exhibitions last weekend as well for the Czech. So it's a busy time. And, you know, to travel away and spend the money to travel away or probably take the money that's coming in the pocket with the lovely JBD sports agents who have booked me for the 2 weekends, you know, it wasn't a difficult, and mine is only up the road for me, you know, it's only a couple of hours away, so yeah, makes sense really.
Year to date so far, how would you assess your season?
It's been a difficult season. You know, I've had choices to make all year of going varying places. We had a lovely chance to go to Australia, to the Australia Darts Open, and I knew that I was going to miss a few tournaments, and that would probably going to make me miss out on the Grand Slam spot. So yeah, it's been a choicey year all year, and I've taken the farm on about a year ago now actually. So you know, I'm having to make the decisions now, and so there's the life away from darts has been very busy this year with your first year of any business and taking it on. So it's been a mediocre, but towards the end of the year I'm starting to get my game and won the England match play in the England Classic. So in the end of September. So yeah, it's starting to come normal again now.
Just touching on the Grand Slam, a couple of points. I think you put out there that you said that you turned down a place because you didn't feel it was right because of the rankings if you were offered one. Just out of interest, were you offered one as a more experienced player over some of the less experienced ones?
No, I wasn't actually offered one. That's the honest truth.
No.
What I said was, lovely people on social media were saying that they felt that I should be going as a bit more experienced and this, that and the other. But at the time I was at number 9 in the rankings. And if 8 PDC or 8 people come over to the PDC from the BDO and you're sat at number 9 in the rankings and you took a spot and one of those 8 didn't come, you know, over a few quid for you know, what sort of person would you be? So I was just being totally honest and saying, look, I wouldn't accept it if I was offered it because I feel that 8 others should go. I've experienced it 4 times. It's amazing. You know, the crowd in Wolverhampton is amazing, and rather than me experience it another time, it would be great for somebody else that hadn't been before to experience it.
Yeah. Did you watch the Grand Slam out of interest before we talk on it and see how your guys did?
I did watch some of it. Some of the results surprised me a little bit, and some of the results didn't kind of go our way. I love Makuru and Lisa. I thought they were a great addition. You know, and some of the guys just didn't happen to have the game that they wanted, and maybe played the situation rather than played the tournament, which, when we're on TV so few times, it is difficult to then play the tournament as a tournament.
Apart from Glenn aside, Lisa and Makura really lit up, I thought, and did themselves proud, where the rest maybe didn't, like you say. Is the gap now bigger than it's ever been?
I don't think the gap's bigger because they're doing those averages on the floor. So it's not that they're not doing them; they're just not doing them in front of the big cameras. And as you say, the more times you get to do that, the more chances you get. The BDO players play about 21 tournaments a year, and the guys that they were playing play 50 plus.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
You know, with 15 on the TV or whatever. You know, so you know, it's a difficult one for us to come and do, but it's always an honour. It's like getting picked for your country to come and play in the Grand Slam. You're being picked for the BDO kind of thing to represent. So you have to look at it in that way, and look at it as if it's just a one-off, and rather than try and take the thing too serious and come and try and win it. You've got to come and try and get out of the group, enjoy the games, enjoy playing the players that you watch on telly every week, and do it that way. And I think sometimes you can get too engrossed in trying to think you can win the tournament.
Now, we all know that Glenn was a BDO representative, but was very much a PDC pick, shall we say, by listening to Matt Poor and Des. Now, I'm not going to get into the politics, whether he should or shouldn't be, but did that cause ripples with the other BDO players that he was selected?
I don't think it did with the players. I think some are saying that he'd been gone for so long and didn't see it. But for me, the criteria has to be that you have your BDO world champion in it. So I think quite rightly so. I would like to have seen it being the BDO world champion and the runner-up. It's our highest profile game. of the year. So you want your BDO champion and your runner-up to come over and have a look, and that kind of wasn't the case. And you know, poor Scott Waits, he's made two out of our 3 major finals and didn't get to come. So how can that be right? So yeah, you know, it's one of those. But Glenn definitely should have been here, in my opinion, as part of the BDO pick. Unfortunate for him, it didn't go on his ranking. Yeah. Because he had a great run, didn't he? Yeah. So, but yeah, I think he should. The BDO world champion has to be in it.
From an outside looking in, like a player's protector on the BDO at the moment, it's from the outside looking in, it looks a bit messy right now. First of all, we'll go to the easy one, leaving Lakeside for the Indigo at the O2. As a player and a long-serving player, a sad day for darts that Lakeside is no more as a venue for World Darts.
For me, I'm old school, and I'm one of the older stages there, and I love Lakeside, and you know, you walk into the place and it just puts the hairs up on the back of your neck, no matter how many times you've been there. The history, the same as the old Wembley did for football. Yeah. So you know, Lakeside had and I believe that although we've moved away to the O2, and I've done exhibitions at the O2 as well, and the Indigo, and the atmosphere was fantastic. So it can work. It can work, the move, and sometimes you have to move. But I still think that Lakeside still has a big part to play in darts in some way or another as a venue. And okay, maybe the World Championships isn't there, but it'd be nice to see the BDO take something else there. Maybe the World Dart Trophy or the World Masters, and take that back there. That would be good for me. I don't want to see Lakeside lost as a venue.
Now moving on, just keeping on the World Championship theme. 2 points from here. One, ticket sales numbers have been released and not particularly good as a number, looking at it, only 9% of tickets sold across the week. And also your infamous tweet now out in the darting world that wasn't meant to be a tweet, so you tell me, just obviously...
My infamous tweet. I woke up about 6:30 in the morning and saw a discussion about travelling and what have you with the BDO and the distances and what have you. And I meant to DM somebody and say, you know, that I'd heard what I'd heard, and you know, the travelling was going to be difficult, and yeah, it didn't turn out to be a DM. I'm a bit of a techno tit, and my family and kids know that I'm not good with computers and phones and everything else, so I put my phone on the side and went off out to do some farm work, feeding calves and cows and this, that and the other, and letting chickens out and feeding them. Come back in about 3 hours later, and my phone is in meltdown, and it's melted a hole in my worktop. You know, it's gone through the laminate, it's got that hot. And then I look at it and then I see all these social media dart pages, shall we say, maybe not so credible as yourself, and yeah, they've put it as their exclusive, and they've got it off of me, as they do, and then obviously I deleted the tweet straight away. It wasn't meant to be out there. I made a massive mistake, and I hold my hands up, and I apologise if it's offended anybody at the BDO or anything, but you know, that wasn't meant to be out there, and yeah, we all make mistakes, and just hold your hands up and it's done.
Obviously now it is out there though, and you're privy to the information. Obviously I'm not going to ask you to go into it because that's obviously confidential, but from the outside looking in, the financial thing doesn't look particularly great then.
I think it was said to me more in frustration. I think there's been a lot of frustration over there at the BDO at the moment, and I think that the varying people within the BDO are getting frustrated, and when you ask questions, it's you know, everybody's tails up, and they are a bit angry and feeling a bit let down, and so things are said that maybe aren't possibly as kosher as they come across, and they can be read in a different manner to the way it's come across. So we all say it, don't we? Yeah. So with any situation, we all say it, you know.
Is 9% of ticket sales across the whole tournament concerning though?
I think it's always concerning for anybody, really. I don't think that there is a good thing about it. Evening, Michael. How are we, buddy? Yeah, all good, man.
Brilliant, isn't he?
Mr. Van Gerwen. Yeah, I mean, it is always worrying, but I think that sometimes things are held back a little bit, and not always the social media side of things is massive, and we are kind of the amateur side of the sport. You know, the players aren't trained in social media no more than the people that run it. Yeah. So it's a difficult one to sort of, when you see it on there, you just believe what you read. And you know, so we don't really know. I mean, at the moment, the players and their families haven't got tickets and all this sort of thing. So when you're seeing these days that they've got 25 down there, we know that ain't going to be the case, because obviously the players and supporters and the sponsors haven't got tickets yet. So I think that it will move, and obviously negativity on social media doesn't help the tickets move anyway. So I wonder why these people say that why would you phone up a venue and say, would you phone up Liverpool FC and say, oh, look, the visit of Barnsley on the FA Cup third round or whatever, they've only sold half the tickets. It just doesn't happen. But in darts, somehow that happens, and I don't get it.
One of the darkest days in a while. From the outside looking in, obviously you'll know more. The fiasco of the World Masters, the redraw, the fake name scenario, and everything that went with it. Was that Thursday a tough day to stomach as well?
No, not really. I think it was for players that weren't used to the situation. It was a situation that none of us were used to the situation, and obviously the things have come out since. So hindsight's a marvellous thing. It's all right hearing stuff 3 weeks later. We were there in the situation, and we really didn't have that scenario. Yeah. It was a case of the entry system had changed. So some of the countries didn't understand the entry system, from what I can make out, with a fee being now on the entries. And no country's ever had to do that before. So some of them got it kind of wrong and didn't under some of their guys. And in previous years, if your name was on the list, you were already entered. So you turned up, you were in the draw the week before. So there was a lot of confusion about how the entry system worked and with managing countries. And you're dealing with so many countries within the BDO and the heads, and they're dealing with so many players within each country. They're having to enter them. And I think that got confusing. And then when we got to the day, there were people there that countries hadn't entered them because they didn't quite understand that they had to pay an entry fee. So I think that was the scenario with it. I'm not sure about the false names. I didn't really hear about that until after. It was just put to us as a bunch of players to say, we've got 40 players to fit in certain amount of holes and it doesn't fit. So what would you suggest? And the only fairest way was to do a redraw. You can't start shoehorning players in a draw that's already made, because what player do you put in where? Let's say, for example, Jeff Smith from Canada didn't get entered and they put him in against my buy. I'd be over the moon with that, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
So yeah, Michael again. So who would have liked that? Nobody would have liked that. So whether you're a top player or whether you've come from the middle of nowhere and qualified through the counties, that wouldn't have been fair to do. So it needed a redraw.
Okay, another one. I don't know if you know the answer to this, but it was a question on social media. Does anyone know where the famous synonymous World Master Trophy is? No, because everyone was expecting them to be presented because it's still the World Masters, and they just seem to have vanished without thin air. Does anyone actually know where they are? I think that was what happened. I believe that it was presented to John a week later. So I don't know why it wasn't presented. I haven't been around. Did anyone know where they were or anything like that, or whether the winners have actually got them?
I think the deal was, I think they had maybe Winmore plastered on them, and because obviously the association with Winmore and the BDO has been for years and years and years, so maybe that was an oversight with all the other stuff that was going on, and then realised. I don't know. I can only assume. Having not spoken to the people, I can only assume. But I think John actually got the trophy presented to him a week later, I believe. Moving
on to some positive stuff now. Do we think the BDO can recover from all this in a short space of time?
Whether it can recover will remain to be seen. I don't think, because I don't know the actual situation of how deep or what the situation is totally. It's very difficult for me to surmise, but I feel that the BDO has a place in darts. Those Super League teams up and down the country, find those guys in those little areas. My Super League team near my hometown in Ringwood. They got me out of my little local league and put me in the Super League team. I started playing well at Super League. Then I went to county. And they find the local people to do that. And I believe if there wasn't that Super League team, I probably would have never been found or made it, because I came to it at a later age, nearly 30. So it has its place, it really does. But we've got to realise what place it has for it to get out of it and progress. We've got to stick with our strengths, not our weaknesses, and use our strengths to get us back to where we were.
And again, I'm not going to call Des out here because obviously he's in a difficult situation, but from an outsider looking in, does he need help? Because he seems to be trying to do everything himself right now, and the PDC runs like clockwork because Barry doesn't try and do everything himself. Yes, he's the chairman and the figurehead, but then underneath him there's a structure. Should the BDO almost be copying this? Like, yes, Des is the figurehead, but underneath there is a structure and a work
Possibly, but I think that Des has taken it on for the year, and there were changes that needed making immediately. There were issues that are probably surfaced since Des has taken it on, if there's no fairer way to saying that. So he's come into a situation where we knew it would take time for him to be able to take it on. We knew it would take time to get it to where he needs it to be and where he sees it being. And it's not a bad place where he sees it being. It's going to be difficult to get it there. And I believe, like I say, maybe he needs some more help, and he needs. But it's difficult to find that help all the time. You know, it's voluntarily. It's a lot of hours. It's a lot of, you know. I know that Des is putting in 80 and 90 hours a week. You know, and feeling that every corner he turns, he meets another corner or another crossroads, and he has to make another decision. And it's not an easy place to be. I know that I would struggle with it. I think any player, anybody in the world would struggle with it. You know, it's change and it's difficult when you're new in any situation. If you're taking one over that's successful and is flying, it's still difficult to do. And Des didn't take it on in that situation, so it was always going to be very difficult.
Looking ahead to the O2 itself, we'll go back to positive things now. With Glenn departing, it's probably the most open the Lakeside draw has been. Sorry, Lakeside, that's just force of habit, isn't it? The O2 draw is probably as open as it's ever been now, because he's been odds-on favourite for the last 2 years, where now the field is open. You've got a very tough one in a young Leighton Bennett first round. Is that the ideal game for you, or is there more pressure on you?
Do you know what? I don't really know if it's the ideal game for me. I'm happy to be playing him. He's a lad that I get on with really well off the board. You know, some people don't like his antics on the board, but you've got to remember that he's who he is, and he's done what he's done, and he's where he is because he can throw a dart. So for me, I see it as a you know, everybody's saying it's a tie of the round, it's a high-profile game. Yeah, it is a high-profile game. And if you want to find out about yourself, you've got to want those games. You know, when your team's winning the league in your local league, you want to be the guy that hit the winning double to win the league. And then this is one of those situations. You've got to want those games. You've not got to want to run away from them. And I certainly don't want to run away from any game or any person now. I'm 49 years old. I've seen a bit of it over 11 years. And you know, I'm happy with the draw, whoever I get.
You talk about being there a long time, 11 years playing BDO darts. Is he the best at that age that you've seen come through the BDO system?
I think it's very difficult to say who's the best. I mean, it's like boxing, isn't it? You've got the best boxer and different eras and stuff. And I think, you know, Justin van der Gouw was playing great, you know, at one point. And then I think him and those two would have been a great game, sort of like 2 or 3 years ago. But of course, Leighton would have only been 10 then. Yeah. So you can't ever compare. It's very difficult. He's as good as anything. I think that the amazing thing is his passion. He's really good, and you come off the board and he's like, "Hello, Scotty, how are you?" And we have a chat, and he keeps telling me he wants to play me and this, that, and the other. So he's kind of got his wish now. We're playing each other on the big stage on the side of the BDO. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Scott, it's an absolute pleasure talking to you here in my. Thanks very much for your honesty as always, mate, and it's a pleasure catching up.
Absolutely, thanks, mate.
Cheers.